Hey everybody, and welcome to this class. And I'll go ahead and post some video as well as we talk through these discussion boards. And so, Jonathan, you make some great points. To see that I believe Savannah also agrees. I'll give you a little bit different perspective in terms of what I know, what I've read in having dodgeball in schools. And so, when you think about the amount of time that students have in schools, and for physical education, health physical education, for elementary, it's about 90 clock hours. That's the requirement, 90 clock hours of health and physical education. So what that means in terms of how many times someone comes to physical education in elementary school, K-5, is 90 clock hours. Now the way that that's spread out is subjective, meaning you could have maybe 60 hours of health and 30 hours of physical education. Each elementary school can do that by themselves. And so it's pretty likely that students have physical education once, maybe twice a week, with about 40 to 100 students in a gym. And so in some schools, worst case scenario, 100 students and once a week. Middle school, the way that the policy reads is it must be offered in middle school. Health and physical education must be offered in middle school, but it's not required to take. And then high school is 1 semester health, 1 semester physical education in the 9th grade level. Now certainly your athletes might take it throughout as an elective, but when you think about where we're at as a nation, and what our skills and skill acquisition looks like in terms of being able to throw a ball, being able to dribble a basketball, being able to do a cartwheel, being able to play tennis, golf, etc. These types of things, not so much, right? I mean, if you think about where we are at, the shape of our nation, literally the shape of our nation, about almost 40% of people are considered overweight or obese. And so when you have a sport like dodgeball, think about how many times one might throw a ball. One of you wrote in your experience paper, they remember the girls sitting along the back in the game of dodgeball in elementary school, hoping that they wouldn't get hit. So when I think about girls and wanting to learn how to throw and grabbing skill acquisition, certainly your athletes are being prepared. But when you think about the times that you throw a ball in a game of dodgeball, versus if everyone had a ball, think of like a baseball warm-up or softball warm-up where everyone's throwing back and forth. Practice makes perfect. We talk about that anyway. So the more times we throw, the more times we practice throwing, the better thrower we're going to be. In the game of dodgeball, think about who throws the ball the most and who doesn't throw the ball because maybe they're bystanders, etc. The second thing I want you to think about is the teaching that takes place in a game of dodgeball. When a teacher is watching a game of dodgeball, they're more of a referee, meaning you're out, no, you didn't catch it, you did caught it, that did touch you, that didn't. And so when you think about teaching, you think about how you teach. It's very rare that a teacher is going to stop a game of dodgeball to give feedback on how to throw or catch correctly. It's just not set up that way. All of that said, I love to play dodgeball. It's a fun game. They have softballs now, that type of thing. But I would argue that there's a place for dodgeball, and during the limited time that we have for students in physical education, it's not the best place to learn the game of dodgeball, or to play the game of dodgeball outside of school, perhaps after school. The Sky Zone types clubs, maybe that might be a better place for that. So just some thoughts for you to think about. Hope you're having a great day. I really appreciate you taking this class and being in it. Talk to you soon.